Hi. Greetings from Wisdom Lord Raphael. Before we start, please hit the subscribe button and hit the notification icon and don't miss any contents. This is the light novel of that time I got reincarnated as a slime. If you haven't watched previous video, I will leave the link on the description box, or you can click here. Let's start. This is Tensura Light Novel Volume 17. Tensura Light Novel. Volume 17. Fragments Across Space-Time. Chapter 1. The Ambition of Myourmiles. Myourmiles. My name is Myourmiles. I consider myself a lucky man. However, lately, I've been getting a little too lucky to be able to describe it in more than one word. My good fortune was cemented when I accepted Rimuru-sama's invitation. Rimuru-sama is my boss. And I don't mean just any boss. He is the head of state of the Tempest Federation, in other words, the king. And he's a demon lord. This is not a joke, it's serious. When I first met him, I thought he was not an ordinary man, and I still think of him as a goddess, but frankly, he's so powerful that I can't even begin to imagine how strong he is. I'm not just talking about the destruction of large cities, but he also saved me by defeating a sky dragon, a monster that could have toppled a small country in a matter of seconds. At that point in time, he was a hero in my eyes, but I was astonished to hear that he had become one of the octograms shortly thereafter. And that's not all. He is also a friend of the demon lord Millennia from the legends, as well as the true dragon Veldora-sama, of which there are only 4 in the world. At this point, I'm tired of being surprised. I'm so tired of being surprised that I can't help but go hum at anything I hear these days. For that reason, I will stop talking about Rimuru-sama and get to the point. My ambition has always been to become a great merchant who is not to be taken for a fool by anyone. I was able to open a shop in the small country of Bloomend and a branch in the large country of Ingratia. Just as I was starting to get my face on the map and business was starting to take off, Fuse Dono, the Bloomend Kingdom's guildmaster, asked me to join him, which was how I met Rimuru-sama. Rimuru-sama, who had become a demon lord, came to me and asked me to work for him as an executive. My current position is that of Minister of Finance. The name may change from time to time, but the job is the same. My job is to transfer the vast amount of wealth gathered in the Demon Lord Kingdom to the departments I deem necessary. When I was a merchant, a portion of the sales of various businesses was my reward. I had to work hard to raise the working capital from the leftover money after deducting the cost of purchases and labor costs. But now, however, it's a different kind of hard work. The amount of money we are dealing with nowadays is on a different order of magnitude. In the old days, my salary was nothing more than a well of water in front of the ocean. And as for my current salary, 50 gold coins a month. Naturally, this is the amount of money after taxes are deducted. Apart from bonuses and other allowances, this is a housing allowance. And that's not all. The trainees act as housekeepers for free, so it's just like having the Monster Kingdom taking care of the house. It's an unbeatable deal, and I'm very happy. Of course, I also take care of the people who followed me from Bloomend, but most of them work for me and are paid by the government. The only people directly employed by the government are the family members and bid, who are entrusted with the housekeeping, and they are paid about 20 gold coins at the most. But here's what is surprising me. In addition to my salary, I have several other revenues. One is the profit that my company makes. Starting with a fast food restaurant at the founding festival, Rimuru-sama's idea took shape in the Bloomend Kingdom and a rest stop on the road, and I am the owner of each of these restaurants. I am paid by the government, but for some reason I am also paid personally. According to Rimuru-sama, he and I are destined to be together. Rimuru-sama said, "Myourmiles kun. When you make money, I will be rich too, isn't that right? Since the money was earned by giving shape to our ideas, shouldn't that be a fair price to pay?" So, he trusts me completely. I didn't know this, but according to Rimuru-sama, he and I had a contract to split the profits. He has not put it in writing, but Rimuru-sama is determined to honor the agreement. That is why I'm doing my best to meet Rimuru-sama's expectations. As a result, I am receiving hundreds of gold coins every month from each store. In addition, the profits are decreasing because of the investment in the first period, but it is expected to continue to increase in the future. The existing branches are expanding. We've received requests from all over the world to open more branches, so that's something we need to consider. And the variety of shops is likely to increase as well. There are many more restaurants that Rimuru-sama asks Gabichi Dono to serve. There is also the added benefit of being the first to taste good food, so I'm more than happy to take a stake in the company. The burger shops and ramen shops are doing very well. Teppanyaki shops have also become a major player, and an ice cream store is in the works. There is even an inn on the main road that is offering new dishes. Depending on how popular they are, I'm sure there will be even more of them. For that reason, I think it's as good as guaranteed that we will continue to make enough profit to match our investments. If this happens, rather than having fun, I'm afraid of how much my income is going to increase. Frankly speaking, in less than a year, I've accumulated enough money to live in luxury for the rest of my life. It's truly an unbeatable deal, but this isn't the end of the story. There is yet another source of income for me. It's the Three Drunk Sages. The Three Drunk Sages is a reference to Rimuru-sama, the celestial emperor Omija of the Sorcerer's dynasty Sarian, and me, Guard Myourmiles. It is an acronym of these three names and refers to a naming organization. I don't care about myself, but Her Majesty Omija is a heavenly person. It is said that even for the nobility of a great country, there is usually a waiting list of several years for an audience with her. Even royalty can't easily meet, even if they wanted to. Her influence is immense. It is said that Sarian's national power is comparable to that of the Western nations, and since it has been supporting such a superpower since the time of its rise, the prestige of Omija shines brightly down from above. I hear that Her Majesty Omija is treated like a god in Sarian. I thought that Rimuru-sama was a very scary person, to be casually drinking with such a person as her. I cannot remember now why I was drinking with him either. But thanks to that, even I can now call Her Majesty Omija as an older sister. That's why some people call us the Three Drunk Sages, but it's not known that we three are involved in the Three Drunk Sages. This is a top secret matter, and only a few people know about it. In the Monster Kingdom, only Benimaru Dono and Sao Dono are known to be involved in this matter. Sao Dono has helped me by lending his subordinates, so I can't keep it a secret from him. As for Benimaru Dono, Rimuru-sama called out to him. You will get married one day, won't you? No, I don't think so. Well, in preparation for that time, you need to hide this from your wife and save up some pocket money, right? No, my salary is enough. You idiot. If you don't at least keep your annual income stashed away, it's going to be hard to go out drinking with your male friends. Is that so? Yes, that's right. That's what a man's worth is all about. I remember him having a conversation like that. It may seem slightly wrong, but it's not something I would interfere with. I wisely ignored it and avoided getting involved. Besides, the annual income of Benimaru Dono, the Minister of War, is the same as mine. And with 600 gold coins, I don't there's any drink he can't afford. Well, that's not important. For some reason, Rimuru-sama is afraid that Shuna-sama will find out about his plan. The reason Rimuru-sama invited Benimaru Dono is because he wants Shuna-sama's older brother to keep an eye on her and to get her to agree with him. Anyway, I got Benimaru Dono as a collaborator and borrowed some of Sao Dono's subordinates. The Three Drunk Sages' secret society plan has been set in motion with them as the executing unit. Rimuru-sama's point of view is very interesting. The crux of the plan is the transformation of the relationship between the Three Drunk Sages. The plan was to gain complete control of the Three Drunk Sages, the secret society that serves as a device of violence, and to encourage clean conflict on the surface. If you only create one giant organization, it will eventually rot from within. It was decided to set up two organizations in the first place because we knew there would be people who would have a grudge against the Jura Tempest Federation. By making them compete with each other, we hope to revitalize our business. In addition, by making them compete with each other, the two organizations would be encouraged to cooperate with one another. In this way, we are trying to prevent the organization from becoming corrupt. When the organization was founded, I was impressed because I would never have been able to think that far into the future. My role was to unite the two organizations. Older sister is the one in charge of uniting the survivors of the Raso clan, with King Dolan of the Dolan General Kingdom at the center. Then, the Western General Trading Company was established by those who have enmity against our monster country. In order to counter this, it was necessary for me to establish the Four Nations Trade Federation at the earliest opportunity. As planned, we set up an umbrella organization involving the leading figures of the Bloomin Kingdom, the Farmina's Kingdom and the Dwarven Kingdom. The merchants I took in after the founding festival became my hands and feet. The number of business partners has decreased drastically, and they are on the verge of being ostracized by their homeland and abandoned by their families. So when the time was right, I reached out and offered my help. I offered them a living if they would work for me, and few would be so foolish as to refuse that offer. Of course, there were still a few who did. Because this was reported in newspapers worldwide, their names have been sold in a bad way. Few people would trust such a person and hire them, so it was obvious that this was the last helping hand they would get. The reporters did a great job too. Needless to say, it was terrifying how Rimuru-sama and Diablo Dono guided it. Thanks to that, my work went well. I owe it to them for making it so interesting. Of course, some of them would be aware of our intentions, and more than a few of them were, but doing anything about it would be useless. Also, they have no reason to complain about the payment since we are not lying about it. It was their pride that was the problem, but that was about it. A merchant is a cash cow and most things are acceptable if it makes a profit. Demonstrating competence would increase their position and salary. Their complaints gradually disappeared and they pledged their loyalty to me. I even got the former head of the store, Bach, involved. He had become a respectable manager while paying off his debts to me, and I left him with a job on the condition that he would pay off the rest of his debts. He felt that he owed me a debt of gratitude, so he did a lot more than I expected. There were other excellent human resources growing up. When the king of Bloomin heard from Fuse Dono, he gathered all his trusted advisors. He said that they were promoting human resource development in preparation for the coming day. The Dwarven Kingdom had also dispatched some excellent civil servants. The dwarves have a long life expectancy, so there is no way for them to rise through the ranks unless their superiors retire. And so, some quick-witted people who have taken advantage of this opportunity have come forward to offer themselves to me as well. It's good to be ambitious. I heard that the Western General Trading Company, organized by older sister, Elmesia, has also signed up the elves, and with the participation of dwarf civil servants, there was no better rival than the Western General Trading Company. However, the Farmina's kingdom, on the other hand, needed help to open a branch office, and the Freedom Association was willing to help, but the stability of the country was still the priority. This is to be expected, so we are taking a long-term view and have given our support to the people who will grow up to be able to do so. But now comes the hard part. We didn't have enough staff to expand into Western nations. As I watched the 3 drunk sages expand, I envied the 3 drunk sages from the bottom of my heart as they continued to crush and absorb the underworld. The underworld was fine, but an organization that was active in the public arena needed good people who could be trusted with the job. The people we scouted were sent to the monster country to be trained, but it would still take a few years for the buds to sprout. By principle, it is out of the question, from my point of view, to entrust such an important job to a stranger. When it comes to that, it is necessary to be very selective about the people we hire. And as I feared, we have been short of people to hire due to sending personnel to various countries. Thus, I turned to Rimuru-sama for advice. Well, I'm in a bind. Our country's human resources are monsters, so I am reluctant to send them out into human society. Yes, that's right. There are many excellent people, and I think they will be accepted once they start working together, but I wonder if it is still too early to do so. I agree with you, Myourmiles-kun. If the person who looks down on you is too good, one will be jealous of them and vice versa. It would be worse if they were persecuted or something, and I feel it's not good to think about things in a hurry. Rimuru-sama and I agreed. Then what should we do? Just as we were pondering, Rimuru-sama came up with a solution. It can't be helped. She seems to be very capable, and I'd like to ask her to cooperate in this matter as well. After saying this, he called up his direct subordinate, Tensura Dono. Tensura Dono was a diplomat and was reputed to be a very talented person. I was introduced to her, but she was so beautiful that I was too nervous to have a proper conversation with her. And then, Rimuru-sama, you wanted to see me? A smile, full of grace, and a look of extraordinary beauty. The scent in the air was so overwhelming that I couldn't help but be overwhelmed by it. While I was stunned, a conversation between Rimuru-sama and Tensura Dono was occurring beside me. To tell you the truth, we're short on people. I see, if that's the case, please leave it to me. I'll have my subordinates work with you. Oh, yeah. Yes, that'd a big help. Also, this is a secret mission, so make sure to keep it a secret. Oh my, it's a secret between me and Rimuru-sama. I promise I won't tell anyone. And of course, my subordinates as well. If they ever speak of this. Tensura Dono laughed. Seeing that smile, Rimuru-sama and I felt very confident that our secret would be kept strictly to the letter. Thus, it was very easy to come to an agreement. Then Tensura Dono looked at me and smiled. I have strict orders that I am to be absolutely obedient to you, Guard-sama, she said. When her voice reached my brain, I felt as if I were going to heaven. Guard-sama, that Tensura Dono called me by my name. Thank you very much. I couldn't help but answer with a gluttonous smile. And so, with the help of Tensura Dono, the plan began to take off almost scarily well. That's all for today, hope you guys enjoy it. Please check my other videos. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe and hit the notification icon. And don't miss any updates. Thank you for watching.